All right. Now, the second part of this video is going to be looking at employment. What is the nature of discrimination in employment? We all know that there is some level of discrimination that goes into employment, and there should be. I have no medical training, and if I applied for a job as a doctor, I would expect them not to even give me an interview because I am not qualified. I expect the hiring board to be discriminating in looking at my education and determining that I do not have the proper education. So what is the extent then of this type of discriminative practice? So higher education. Should there be a requirement that you have a certain threshold of education? So to be a professor at Central Bend College, does one need a PhD? Well, there are many faculty here who do not have a PhD. Should one have a master's degree? If you do not have a master's degree, should that be a threshold that prevents you from being able to teach here? I know many people who have not even graduated from college, who know as much, if not more than me, about my focus, my specialty. Should an institution of higher learning like Central Penn College discriminate against that person despite them having the ability to teach simply because they do not have the proper diploma? Well, we know that there is discrimination that occurs in the context of employment and that it's not per se necessarily unjust. Right? There is nothing wrong with requiring someone to graduate from medical school before we hire them as doctors. Right? Refusing to hire someone without an MD, or what's the other one, the osteopathic, or an OD? I don't know. To practice medicine, right? This is not a form of unjust discrimination. Now, with respect to controversial hiring practices, it should be noted that virtually no one has advocated for the hiring or promotion of unqualified persons, right? And that's not where this is. What is at issue, in short, is the legitimacy of using membership in a class of persons, especially historically oppressed groups of persons, as a positive consideration when choosing between qualified applicants. Right? So if all things being equal, can or should someone making a hiring decision use something like race as a metric for making that final decision? Right? Is it fair when all things being equal in terms of qualification? Should it be fair for an employer to select someone who doesn't have a disability simply because they do not have a disability while the other applicant does? Right? Is that considered fair? Is that ethical? And so this is the type of questions that get us thinking along these terms of ethics, of Kant versus utilitarianism. What is fair? How things ought to be.